Thanksgiving Eve, also known as Black Wednesday, is one of the busiest travel days of the year. It's also one of the most popular days to go out drinking, hence the name Black or Blackout Wednesday. Travel stress, alcohol, holiday stress, family, all these things can contribute to heightened emotions, which can cause people to do some very disturbing things. Let's talk about some disturbing true Black Wednesday or Thanksgiving Eve or drinks giving stories. Hey, spooky people, it's your best friend Kenny here. And we are continuing on with our spooky holiday coverage. Today we're going to talk about Black Wednesday or Thanksgiving Eve or Drinksgiving or whatever it is you call it. Before we get started, make sure, I don't know what's going on with my hair here. Before we get started, make sure that you are subscribed to this YouTube channel, The Spooky Lawyer. Make sure that you like this video and share this video. Watch this video at your Thanksgiving celebration. And also watch it the day after Thanksgiving and the weekend after Thanksgiving. Just keep watching it. I put together a playlist of spooky holiday stuff. We have videos on disturbing Thanksgiving stories, disturbing Black Friday stories. We're going to have disturbing Christmas stories involved in that playlist. Throw that playlist on at your grandma's house, and you can all just sort of watch it and enjoy. Much better than football. Much better than whatever sort of conversations there are to have at the Thanksgiving table this year, right? Oh. You can't see my sweater, so I'm going to show off my Nessie sweater. All right. Let's do it. Let's get spooky. The 2023 Saugus, Massachusetts restaurant brawl at the Kowloon restaurant. On Wednesday night, November 22nd, 2023, at the Kowloon restaurant, a well-known establishment in Saugus, Massachusetts, there was a large-scale brawl that broke out at about 10:30 p.m. The fight involved numerous patrons. Reports are it started between two groups and then escalated to involve many other people. There is video footage showing people shoving, punching, and even using objects like bottles as weapons. Now, I'm imagining one of those like WWF, WWE Royal Rumbles. You just have people just fighting everybody, And those type of fights are kind of funny because you get these people who are so excited that there's a fight and look at it as an opportunity to just start fighting people that they might not have anything even to do with the fight. And then they just start punching people, right?
And a bar brawl at the local favorite Kowloon is now under investigation by Saugus police. The police chief calls it unacceptable and disgusting. This video shows several people pushing and shoving, and one woman even picks up a glass bottle and smashes it on someone's head.
The Saugus police were actually already present at the restaurant as part of security detail. They intervened to de-escalate the situation and attempt to restore order. They had to call state troopers in to assist in dispersing the crowd. The severity of the brawl made the Kowloon's management have to close the restaurant and bar early on Black Wednesday. Police conducted an investigation into the incident, and initially no arrests were made at the scene, but several individuals were detained and questioned. Later, 4 people would be charged for their roles in the brawl, including charges of assault and battery and disorderly conduct. The incident got significant attention in the news and on social media, with many shocked and disappointed that people would act such a way on Thanksgiving Eve. Other people were just enjoying the chaos, which I tend to enjoy chaos. So people tried to, or, there's been some people trying to understand what the contributing factors to the brawl were. I'm going to guess it was alcohol consumption, perhaps even overconsumption of alcohol, as well as the crowded conditions causing frustration, causing heightened tensions, causing uncomfortability. Thankfully, no one at the Kowloon restaurant was seriously injured. November 22nd, 1997, the United Airlines flight from London to Washington Dulles International Airport. On this flight, a man from Gloucester, England, was caught smoking in the aircraft's lavatory by a female flight attendant. I don't know, that's crazy to me to think that smoking on an airplane is crazy to me. Smoking was never permitted on airplanes, at least as far as I'm aware, during my lifetime. And, the idea that you can't go a flight without needing a cigarette sort of blows my mind. And then sneaking a cigarette like this in the middle of a flight, in the bathroom, in the flight attendant's bathroom. For God's sakes. When this man was confronted by crew members because he got caught smoking, he became violent. He slammed the lavatory door on the flight attendant's foot, which injured her. He then proceeded to assault other crew members who came to assist. Upon arrival at Dulles Airport, the man was arrested by the FBI and charged with 3 counts of interfering with a flight crew. And it would later be learned he had an extensive criminal record in the UK. And this was one of the first instances in which someone received significant prison time for air rage. And this started concern over disruptive and violent behavior on airlines and contributed to a push for stricter penalties for those who harm flight crew members, which, frankly, is a good thing. People shouldn't be harmed when they're doing their job, and that's all the flight crew is doing. That's their job, just like your job. Just because you're mad because you want to smoke a cigarette doesn't give you a right to harm those people. So I'm glad he did prison time because he deserved it. The death of Soulja Slim. Soulja Slim is a hip-hop legend. A New Orleans hip-hop legend. And his death was a tragic event that shook the music community and the New Orleans community. And there are some unresolved and unknown issues or parts involving his passing. On November 26, 2003, again, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, in front of his mother's home in the Gentilly neighborhood of New Orleans, which is a house that Soulja Slim had bought his mom earlier that year. Soulja Slim, whose real name was James Adaryl Tapp Jr., was shot 4 times, 3 times in the face and once in the chest. And he passed at the scene. A little over a month later, a suspect, a man named Jarrell Smith, was arrested on New Year's Eve in connection with the murder. And despite the murder weapon being found in Smith's possession, he was released due to a lack of witnesses willing to testify. Officially, this is an unsolved case. Soulja Slim's murder remains unsolved, although many people believe that Smith was the perpetrator. However, Smith would be unalived in August 2011. So we may never find out what happened. There's also no known motive. Some people believe that robbery may have been a motive, as Soulja Slim was known to carry large amounts of cash. Others believe that the murder could have been retaliation for past feuds or conflicts, as the rapper is believed to have been involved in some violent street life, and he would frequently rap about the violent street life. Another theory is just jealousy. Soulja Slim's rising success in the music industry may have made him a target of envy. Now, this happens a lot to hip-hop artists. This happens a lot to rappers. They're in their hometown neighborhood, and they get killed. You may remember there's been a lot of them recently. For example, Young Dolph was at a cookie shop, his favorite cookie shop. He used to brag about going to this cookie shop whenever he was home in Memphis, Tennessee. And he was shot and killed right outside of that cookie shop. Same thing with PNB Rock. PNB Rock was recently murdered at a restaurant in his neighborhood. It's sad. These artists who manage to break out of extreme poverty and very difficult neighborhoods are able to do so, but then end up getting murdered. Soulja Slim death was a loss for the New Orleans hip-hop scene and hip-hop in general, and frankly, music in general. He had a writing credit on Juvenile's song Slow Motion, which is an absolute jam. And he was a very talented individual, very clearly a very talented individual that could have done a lot more. His influence, his artistry, his talent could have been a lot more. He had a lot more to do on this planet before his life was taken. Mohammed Kyla. Mohammed Kyla was a 22-year-old from Blackburn, England, and he caused a major disruption on his honeymoon flight in November 2014. Before boarding his flight from Manchester to Cuba, Kyla purchased and consumed a bottle of vodka that he bought at the duty-free store, an entire bottle. His excessive drinking led to disruptive behavior, which caused his new wife to move away from him on the plane. Like, Jesus Christ, man, you're on your honeymoon, you got a brand new wife, and you're already embarrassing her, on your way to the honeymoon. He requested to move next to his wife, and he became agitated and threatened to kill everyone on board when he was denied his request. As his behavior escalated, he was handcuffed by the crew. And the pilots, because of the severity of the threats and his unruly behavior, made the decision to divert the flight to Bermuda. Upon landing in Bermuda, he was arrested by local authorities, and he pled guilty to charges of drunkenness on an airplane and abusive behavior towards flight staff. He was fined $3,000 Bermuda dollars. And his wife went to Cuba without him. And I don't blame her. She wasn't going to have her trip ruined. How embarrassing, right? Thankfully on this trip, no one was harmed, right? But he had some pretty dramatic personal consequences for his public drunkenness. He missed his honeymoon and had to deal with legal proceedings in a foreign country. He certainly embarrassed his wife. You know, they used the term doghouse or whatever. I don't know what happened to him after this incident, if he stayed married, but I'm sure his wife was very mad at him for a very long time. And also, I'm sure this was just an incredibly embarrassing event for him because this made news stories, and I'm sure his friends and family found out about this, and which again they should have. But how embarrassing is it for people to find out about, or how embarrassing is this entire incident for both his poor wife and him? And like obviously he earned this, he did it, but man, you know, like stay in control. You know, if you can't handle your drinking, don't drink. I thought it was interesting that he was charged with drunkenness on an airplane because I feel like a lot of people could be charged with that. But, you know, as long as you're drunk and not bothering other people, that's your prerogative. But as soon as you're threatening other people, that becomes everybody's problem. And more than just the crew, it becomes passengers' problems. It becomes, I mean, this became Bermuda's problem. So anyway, this has been our Black Wednesday coverage as part of our spooky holidays. Make sure that you check out the playlist for the other videos in the spooky holidays series that we're doing. Make sure that you're following me on Blue Sky and TikTok. My username is AKBrews. Make sure you're following me on Twitter if you still use Twitter. My username is there, AKBrews also. If there are any spooky, disturbing stories, holiday themed or otherwise, go ahead and send me an email, thespookylawyer@gmail.com. You can always tag me in some of the spooky videos or disturbing things that you find online, whether it's on Blue Sky or TikTok or Twitter or YouTube for that matter. You can tag me on here too. I hope that you have a good holiday and I hope you're enjoying your holiday. I'm very grateful that you watch my videos. And remember, please stay spooky.